So from what I can tell, the drone is up there, having hit one of those trees because its pilot was an idiot and is now consigned to waiting and climbing and possibly infecting himself to go get it back, if the signal holds out long enough.
There's not much to be said for this drone pilot. I'm allowed to say that. He's me. But there is a lot to be said for the bird he lost, a product so useful that when you fly it into a tree on a private island and risk drowning and Lyme disease trying to recover it, only to fail miserably and spend $800 again to get a new one, well, tragedy aside, that's a pretty big endorsement. I'm Mr. Mobile, and this is the DJI Mavic Air review, brought to you by Gravy. Folks, if you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to learn two things. How to get a chance for a Mavic Air discount while helping a charity, and how to avoid flying it to its death if you do end up buying one. Plus, I'm going to treat you to a lot of shots like these. Being able to lay down 4K video like this makes the Mavic Air well worth the upgrade over the only other drone I've tested, the lower-end DJI Spark. It's not just the resolution either. The Mavic Air is also a more powerful aircraft, which means it can hold position better in a strong wind. The first time I ever used it to shoot a Mr. Mobile video, I was down in Florida filming the Tesla Model 3, and man, just look at these trees. Look how those leaves are blowing around. DJI recommends you don't fly the Air in winds over 22 miles an hour, and certainly in high winds, my battery life does fall short of my usual 18 minutes per flight. But if you do want to fly the Mavic Air right at the edge of its wind envelope, well, you want to be careful about the takeoff. But once airborne, this drone doesn't so much as shudder until the wind starts blowing whitecaps around the bay. I've also got high praise for the camera gimbal, which kept the shot steady almost all the time. This review comes 5 months after the Mavic Air's release, and part of the reason it took that long is that I wanted to use as many of the special flight modes as possible. Not the gesture controls, by the way. They're neat, but they're not terribly useful for me. I'm talking about the quick shots. Remember those Model 3 tracking shots from before? I filmed those manually, following the car around, flying the drone with the sticks. And while I eventually got what I wanted, it took a lot of trial and error. By the time I shot my next Tesla video, I'd learned to use the auto-tracking feature to keep the drone locked on the subject all by itself. That worked really well, until the car ducked behind a tree, at which point the drone lost it and couldn't reacquire. Those circling and helix modes, they have their moods too. Use them to track a moving object at a lower altitude, and the Mavic Air can't always keep up. Still, once you learn how to use them, these modes are so cool. They can make a geek on a dirt pile look like a hero on El Capitan, or give you your own private asteroid to hang out on. At the end of the day, the quick shots are an awesome addition to an already versatile filming platform. Hey, I hopped off the hardware pretty early, so I want to come back to it to say that DJI really delivers on its mobility pledge. When it's folded up and nestled in its little carrying case, the Air is very portable. You can even pop the sticks off the remote, but I found that I can keep them on and the whole thing still fits into the case that came with my Fly More combo. You might laugh at my favorite improvement the Mavic Air brings over the Spark because it's just so simple. See, the earlier drone relied on a wireless connection to bond the phone and the transmitter, and that led to so many headaches that I almost quit flying entirely. I'm not even joking, it was insanely irritating. Well, the Mavic Air controller is a regular old micro USB cable to make that link to your phone. That eliminates so much of the frustration of the setup process. Also, the DJI app has gotten a ton of updates over the past few months, which has made it a lot more stable. I had a day with the Spark back in December where the app on my phone just wouldn't stop crashing. And then the Spark initiated a premature return to home to the wrong home point. Something it's done before, by the way. Long story short, and keep in mind I'm still talking about the Spark here, the app became so unresponsive that I couldn't abort the drone's automatic landing, and Well, this happened. I bring back this unpleasant memory to make the point that I've never had a situation like this with the Air caused by the Air. The closest I got was flying too close to this cellular tower, losing my connection because of interference, but it was able to reconnect and fly home safely. Still, that does illustrate a notable shortcoming of the Mavic Air. Unlike its older sibling, the Mavic Pro, the Air uses Wi-Fi for the wireless connection between controller and drone, which makes it vulnerable to Wi-Fi interference from residential neighborhoods. When flying over the suburbs, I got near constant warnings about that interference, and my video feed often got distorted as well. If you fly mainly in rural areas, this will be less of a problem, until you run into a tree. Yeah, let's close out with the details there. What brought down my own Mavic Air was me realizing that flying sideways, well, that could make for a really cool-looking video. But I neglected to remember a critical truth about the way this drone is designed. See, the drone sees with these navigation cameras on the front, the back, and the bottom, and the ones forward and aft are really useful for avoiding collisions. You get a warning on the screen and you get a beep if you get too close to an obstacle ahead or astern. But there are no such sensors on the sides. So you'll have no warning if you're trying the kind of sideways shot I was and a tree leaps out and gets you. This is another great reason to always keep the drone in visual range when flying it. That's also an FAA rule if you're flying in the States. But I was doing that, and I still crashed. To be clear, I'm not blaming the drone, folks. I just should have been more careful. So yeah, guys, I love the thing. I do have legitimate quibbles with it. I wish its camera had more dynamic range, so highlights didn't wash out quite so much. You see how much detail we lose in the brightly lit parts of the shot here? And also, you basically need to buy extra batteries if you want to fly more than 18 minutes per 2 hours. Definitely budget for the Fly More combo. But neither of these is a showstopper for me. The Mavic Air is a very powerful tool that strikes a great balance between portability and capability. Like any drone, it demands a great deal of time and effort to master, and at a starting price of $799, it is an expensive loss. It stings if you lose it while carried away with the fun of composing a beautiful shot. But it's such a useful tool that once you've built the Mavic Air into your workflow, not having one just stops seeming like an option. If you live in the US and you're thinking of putting a Mavic Air in your backpack, good news! You're going to get the chance to snap one up for as much as 40 to 60% off by playing Gravy this coming Sunday, June 24th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Gravy is a live shopping game for iOS that lets you give to charity while saving on cool stuff, like this very Mavic Air.
It's a drone, people!
Follow the link in the description to play this Sunday on your iPhone or iPad, and good luck. We're all counting on you. Folks, do you have success stories or horrific tales about your own drone experience? Share them in the comments. Let me know which drone you want me to cover next. And be sure you're subscribed to the Mr. Mobile on YouTube so you don't miss the next video when it gently makes its landing at the home point. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.